how to make the TikTok algorithm love you. I'm gonna go ahead and give you 5 ways to have the TikTok algorithm fall in love with you, your account, and your content. I've helped dozens of creators get over 100,000 followers. I've helped hundreds get to 10,000 followers so they can monetize, do TikTok Shop, go live, and do all of those things. And I have thousands of people in my creator network that I get to ask, talk to, and speak to every day, find their struggles, and help them overcome, as well as hear about the things that are working and not working on TikTok. So let's go ahead and get to the first one here. The first one is posting frequency, okay? Posting frequency. And that's how many times a day that you post. So let's talk about posting frequency. A lot of people are taught to post 3 to 5 times a day, and that really started with how the algorithm used to work on TikTok. So in early TikTok, people would post 5 to 10 times per day because TikTok was really passionate about showing the most trending recent content so that people didn't miss any trends, any dances that were going on. However, they really started to, in 2022, 2023, start to favor the quality content, the content that's the best in each particular niche, rather than just showing everybody the most recent content. So as we've transitioned, all of a sudden here, going into 2025, we're looking at quality content and we're looking at the best content in each idea group, interest group that people post to. So for example, me with TikTok growth, people are going to see the best content in TikTok SEO, TikTok algorithm, how to grow on TikTok. You're gonna see the best videos, not necessarily the most recent like you used to. So with that being said, posting frequency used to matter, but posting frequency no longer matters in terms of how much quantity you have to post. If anything, you're gonna wanna post less than you used to. And so I would say 5 to 10 times per week is a very good pace. So that could be 1 to 2 times a day, depending. I wouldn't do any more than 2 times per day, and I would make sure to split those up. But right now I'm posting at a frequency of about 5 to 10 times per week. And so don't fall into the trap of posting 3 to 5 times per day, because the amount of frequency that you post affects your account. Your account, especially when it's newer or it doesn't have as much authority as an account that has hundreds of thousands of followers and gets hundreds of thousands of views consistently, those accounts are going to be able to post more and get more views because they've built that authority with TikTok. Your account doesn't have that authority, so it's not going to give you the same amount of reach on each individual video. With that being said, the reason I say to post 5 to 10 times per day, because if TikTok is showing the best content, it's important to post quality so that TikTok is showing your videos to people that really want to see it. The other thing is that the shelf life of content now is going to be much, much greater. So instead of videos only lasting for 3 days to a week, now they're 6 months or even a year relevant. So if you're gonna go ahead and post, you might as well post something that you could live on TikTok and do well for a year, because it's gonna be working for you for a year. Now, since it's working for you for a year, you don't have to post as much. Your backlog of videos can work for you for months and months. So it's really important that you understand that quality is more important than quantity right now on TikTok. So go ahead and move your quantity of time that you're posting down, okay? Now, let's talk about the second thing. This is something that I always hear a lot of coaches, a lot of consultants on TikTok and other places talk about, and that's posting times. And we're actually not going to talk about posting times because they don't matter anymore. Just like I talked about with quality and quantity, the amount of times that you post per day and the times that you post don't matter, because if TikTok is pulling the best content instead of the most recent content, it doesn't matter when you're posting. It's going to get shown to the right people eventually. Now, it can matter a little bit with the reach initially, if maybe you post when people are getting up for the morning, or they're on their lunch break, or they're just getting off of work. There are small nuances that can help with initial reach by doing it then, or looking at your analytics and seeing when your viewers watch your videos the most. But if your video is good, it's going to be shown to everybody and it's going to work for you for months and months. So the actual time that you post really doesn't matter that much. I want to talk about the next thing here, and it's about riding the wave versus creating it, okay? Now, what do I mean by riding the wave versus creating it? Instead of trying to think of all these unique topics yourself, go ahead and actually do the research on TikTok of what content is doing well in your niche. What are the video lengths like? What are the topics like? How are they saying it? What are the keywords that they're using? Instead of trying to be your own unique creator right away, go ahead and model after the topics and keywords and things that are working already, okay? Because if you try to be unique completely, you're going to be working against the grain, and you're going to have something pop off in order to go ahead and grow. And that can be really time consuming. Why most people are not crushing it right now is because they're not using validated ideas that are already on the platform and validated keywords in the way that people say it on TikTok. They're not using those things to go ahead and ride the momentum, ride the wave of people that are already interested and have watched and spent time watching and have engaged and shared content and topics that are relevant right now. So that's something that I really want you guys to do, is to find relevant topics in your niche, relevant creators in your niche, and don't copy. That's not what I'm saying. Don't copy word for word, but I want you to model the format, model the way that they use their hooks and those things. Model after it so that you don't have to work so hard to get started and to find your people, because once you find your people and you build with maybe 5, 10, 20, 50,000 followers, then you can start to get a little more unique to yourself. Now that doesn't mean that you don't have to put your own personality in it, because you should put your own personality in it. But what I'm saying is the topics and ideas are extremely important on TikTok. If you think about politics, for example, why can so many people get views on politics? Why can so many news outlets say the same thing and get a bunch of views and a bunch of people reading and watching all of their videos? Because each individual is using the same topic or idea, but they're giving their own opinion on it, right? And they want to hear different perspectives of the same opinion because they're interested in that singular idea or topic, but they get to hear a different spin on it. So when I hear people talking about SEO, I can talk about it in the way that I know, right? So TikTok SEO being hashtags, your captions, and things that are put on screen in different ways to use it. So people can talk about what they think of SEO, but I can give my own opinion on it and show people how it works and how it's working for my clients, right? That's the idea, is to ride the wave of the actual idea, but to give your own model of it, your own spin on it, so that people can get to know you and like you in that particular interest niche topic. Now, there are a lot of people that are struggling with a lot of the new guidelines that TikTok has been putting out. So number 4, or number 3 technically, is stop acting like a bot, okay? So you have people that are doing things like follow the teamwork trend, all these things, and you're getting people to follow and unfollow. That's a bot-like activity. Frequently using VPNs and changing your location. That is spam bot-like activity. Spamming the same thing in comments all the time. That's a bot-like activity. You don't want to act like a bot, so stop acting like a bot, okay? Now, with stop acting like a bot, the other thing that I want to talk about is TikTok, the TikTok algorithm, as well as the bot that's watching your activity as a user is also a bot. So you don't want to trigger anything, and it's not a real person watching you. So you have to act natural. Just act natural, okay? So act natural with your posting frequency. If you're posting 10 times a day, that's not very natural. That's probably not quality content. It's probably been done by AI, and if you're not labeling that it's been done by AI, TikTok's got another problem with you, right? So you have to act natural. So posting frequency and posting, if you're gonna post 2 times a day, maybe post once in the morning and once in the evening, once in the afternoon and once at night, right? Something like that, but split it up so that there's some time between it and it feels like to TikTok that you're actually creating the content rather than trying to spam post it all the time, okay? So the more that you can act like a human, the less trouble you're gonna have with TikTok. So if you're trying to take things, for example, from YouTube and you're trying to take copyrighted content, all these things, the more things that you compile and get strikes for, the more you look like a bot, the more you look like spam, the more TikTok's not gonna wanna push out your account. And this is one of the ways to get the TikTok algorithm to love you, is to show your face, to create content that is not bot-like, that's not AI, that they don't have to think twice about your content not being legit, okay? So there's so many other things that I can get into about that. That would be a whole video in itself, but the basis is just act natural. Now for number 5, technically number 4, I'll get you an extra one here at the end, is something that a lot of people do. I see it in the lifestyle creator niche specifically on TikTok, and that is people need to realize that they need to create unselfish content, okay? Unselfish content. Content that is not selfish. Now, when you do a get ready with me or a vlog, inherently that's selfish. If you do music and you're pushing your music towards people, listen to my music, listen to my music, that's inherently selfish. If you are trying to sell something directly to people and the only thing that you do on your account is sell, that is unselfish content. And a lot of people believe that we don't have the attention spans anymore to listen to content. But the fact of the matter is people they don't want to hear selfish content. They have less time for selfish content, and so that's why people are swiping. If the content helps them, if it helps the user, exactly the kind of content that I'm making for you guys right now, helping the user, and it's unselfish, that's the kind of content that people watch. That's the kind of people that you want to connect with as a viewer. And when you're trying to find creators about a specific topic, that's the kind of creators you want to connect with, right? So being unselfish. Now there are a few ways that you can do that. First, I would create some sort of listicle video. That's exactly what I have here. A listicle video shows ways that you can help them, how-tos. You can also wrap things up in entertainment. If you're trying to be their comfort creator, or you're trying to be a getaway, or you're trying to make them laugh, those are all things that are valuable and make you unselfish as a creator that people want to watch, right? It's the selfish things when you're trying to sell to people, when it's about you and only the content that you want to make and not the content that they want to hear, is when you're going to have this big discrepancy. So really focus on being unselfish in any way that you can. Now for those lifestyle creators, that's the way that you can make it a lot less selfish, is to give them a recipe in the middle of it that they can use. Try to make it easier for stay-at-home moms, for example. Give them a beauty tip or a beauty hack, or these are the 3 things that cleared up my acne, right? Give them something that they can take with them that is tangible, that they can try. That's what's gonna make you useful to them as a viewer, and that's what's gonna help build trust, and that's what's gonna get them to come back to your content, watch over and over again, build the authority. The authority obviously leads to a lot of followers and a lot of baseline views that you're ultimately chasing, and that's how you get the TikTok algorithm to love you. Now, this final part right here, I'm gonna put a 6 here because we technically X'd out the part about the posting times because they technically don't matter. So bonus 1 here. I want you guys to focus on the first 5 seconds of your content way more than any part of your content. So the first 5 seconds. Now, you want to get romantic with how that first 5 seconds is going to come out, because that's the only part that 100% of people, or almost 100% of people, are going to see. Most people swipe within the first, say, 3 seconds, okay? But I want you to work on the first 5. Now, with those first 5 seconds, you want to make sure that you have an idea for what's the verbal hook going to be, okay? A verbal hook is what you say the very first sentence to get somebody hooked, to stop the scroll, to get them to want to watch your video, okay? You got to think about what text is going to be on the screen. How can you word it in a way that is going to get them to want to stay, want to see more, build curiosity, pique some sort of curiosity to want to stay for the whole video? What payoff do they get by the end, right? That's a good thing to write up there. What's the payoff at the end of the video? What are they going to learn by the end of the video if they stay and watch? And if that is valuable enough to them, if it means enough to them, they'll stay and watch the whole video. That's why you're probably here on this video right now, is because you want the payoff of how to make the algorithm love you, okay? The other thing that you can do as well, besides the verbal hook and the text hook, is to also think about the visual hook. What is visually happening in your video? So for me, for example, I wanted this to visually be kind of aesthetic. I wanted to have kind of like that bright white aesthetic, right? I have a light pink shirt on, and I have my little board with my little marker, and you can see in the thumbnail that I have the marker available there, and you can see it, right? So I wanted you to know that this was going to be a sit down of me and you just talking, almost like a FaceTime call or a Zoom call, on like a consult call, that I'm going to go ahead and show you exactly what, how to make the algorithm love you. And so with your first 5 seconds, you want to make sure that you're visually appealing to the right people as well. That could be using a marker as a microphone. They're going to be like, that's interesting. Why is he doing that? Maybe that's just your thing and they don't know that yet. Or, like I said, maybe you're using something like this, or you're going to go ahead and pull off, pieces of paper to unveil each one of these 5 listicle things. Or, there's endless ways to do visual hooks, but you want something that visually hooks your audience, the viewer that has never seen you before, to go ahead and take a chance on your content. Those 3 things, your verbal hook, your visual hook, and your text hook, are what's going to keep people here enough for them to give your content a chance for them to watch the whole video. Because if you go ahead and get them to stay for the first 5 seconds, 10 seconds, they're likely going to stay for a lot more of the video. And then if you bring them value, if the thing that you have is really valuable, it brings some sort of laugh or curiosity, or they become enlightened by your content, they're going to watch it again and again. And like we talked about, that's how you compound and build an account that loves you, and that's how you get the algorithm to love you. Now, if you want to learn more about TikTok growth, go ahead and check my description. I have a free community you guys can go ahead and join today. And if you guys want to go ahead and continue to grow on TikTok, watch this next video, because this is the one that YouTube thinks you should watch.